For decades, we've been told that maintaining friendships is the key to happiness as we age. But what if that's not entirely true? What if, after 70, chasing after friendships could be holding you back? It sounds surprising, even a little uncomfortable, but for many older adults, this shift in thinking leads to a more peaceful, independent life. If you've ever wondered whether you need friends the way you once did, you're not alone. Today, we're uncovering 6 powerful reasons why letting go of traditional friendships might be the most freeing decision you'll ever make. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. 1. Life's natural drift frees you to focus inward. As you age, life naturally reshapes your social world, encouraging you to turn inward and discover new depths of personal fulfillment. Think back to your 30s or 40s. Your days were a flurry of social interactions, from meeting friends for drinks to bonding with coworkers over late-night projects. Your calendar was full, your phone buzzing with invitations. But by the time you reach 70, things look different. Friends move away, careers end, and social circles inevitably shrink. At first, this change may feel like a loss, but what if it's an opportunity? Consider Ellen, a 72-year-old woman who used to host weekly dinners for longtime friends. 4 years, those evenings were the highlight of her week, filled with laughter and deep conversation. But slowly, life happened. One friend moved to another state, another fell ill, and before she knew it, the gatherings faded into memory. At first, she felt unmoored, like she had lost a core piece of her identity. But rather than dwell on what was gone, Ellen turned her energy towards something she had long neglected: gardening. She filled her mornings with tending to her plants, watching tiny green shoots emerge from the soil. Before long, she realized she was cultivating not just a garden, but a renewed sense of purpose. Psychologists like Dr. Julianne Holt-Lunstad, who studies aging and social connection, confirm that this shift is completely natural. Research shows that as people age, their social networks shrink by 20 to 30% due to life transitions like retirement or relocation. But here's the surprising part. Those who embrace this change by finding meaning within themselves report greater life satisfaction than those who resist it. It's like a tree shedding leaves in autumn, not a loss, but a strengthening of roots. What if, instead of mourning fading friendships, you saw them as an invitation? What if this quieter chapter was your chance to finally read that book, take up painting, or simply sit in stillness? You don't need a crowd to feel fulfilled, just curiosity and a willingness to explore. And here's the unexpected twist. By embracing this shift, you might find yourself more magnetic than ever. 2. Solitude becomes a strength, not a sentence. Let's challenge a common fear: being alone. For many, the word alone brings to mind images of empty rooms, silent evenings, and a sense of isolation. It's easy to view solitude as a punishment, something to be avoided at all costs. But what if solitude is not a burden, but a quiet superpower? What if, instead of fearing it, you could harness it to deepen your understanding of yourself and the world around you? Take Robert, a 75-year-old widower, as an example. When his wife passed away, his friends initially gathered around him, offering comfort and company. For a time, their presence filled his days and eased his grief. But as months passed, the visits grew less frequent, and soon, Robert found himself facing long stretches of quiet. At first, the silence felt heavy, a reminder of all he had lost. But instead of letting loneliness consume him, Robert decided to do something simple. He started walking. Every morning, he strolled through a nearby park, paying attention to the world around him. He noticed the way the sunlight filtered through the trees, the gentle rustle of leaves in the breeze. Those walks became a daily ritual, a space where he could reflect, remember, and simply exist. Over time, something surprising happened. He stopped fearing the quiet. He began to crave it. Science supports this shift in perspective. According to a 2022 study by the American Psychological Association, older adults who embrace solitude experience lower stress levels and better emotional well-being compared to those who resist it. The key is understanding that solitude isn't about isolating yourself from others. It's about finding comfort and peace within your own company. Think of solitude not as a cold, empty cell, but as a warm, inviting blanket, something that nurtures and protects you. So, how can you start embracing this quiet power? Begin small. Set aside just 15 minutes today to sit quietly with your thoughts. No phone, no distractions. Let your mind wander and see where it takes you. It may feel unfamiliar at first, but that's where the magic begins. And here's a hint. There's an unexpected reward waiting for those who learn to enjoy their own company. 3. Expectations can trap you. Independence sets you free. Let's face it, many of us have fallen into the same trap, expecting others to show up the way they used to. It's natural to want the people we care about to stay close, but life often pulls us in different directions. Imagine this, you're 71, and your best friend from your teaching days cancels lunch for the third time. She's busy with her grandkids, and while you understand, it still hurts. You start to wonder if you're slipping off her radar, if you're becoming less of a priority. This is exactly what happened to Margaret. For months, she felt disappointed by friends who didn't call or visit as often. Each missed connection felt like a rejection. But one day, she asked herself a powerful question. Why am I waiting for someone else to make me feel okay? That question changed everything. Instead of waiting for others, Margaret decided to take charge of her happiness. She signed up for a painting class, something she had always been curious about but never made time for. When she dipped her brush into a swirl of paint and swept it across the canvas, it felt like more than just a creative act. It was a rebellion against the old expectations weighing her down. Each brushstroke was a reminder that she didn't need to rely on others to feel fulfilled. Psychotherapist Esther Perel emphasizes that depending on others for emotional stability becomes riskier with age. Life circumstances shift. People relocate, face health challenges, or become wrapped up in family responsibilities. Expecting relationships to remain unchanged is like building a house on shifting sand. It's unstable and leaves you vulnerable to disappointment. The solution: build your foundation on something more solid, yourself. The next time a friend cancels or you find yourself waiting for a phone call, don't stew in frustration. Use that time to nurture your independence. Try a new recipe, take a scenic drive, or savor a quiet moment with a warm cup of tea. You're not at anyone's mercy anymore. And here's the twist. By letting go of rigid expectations, your remaining relationships often become richer and more meaningful. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. 4. Time becomes too precious for surface-level ties. Here's a hard truth. Once you reach 70, every day becomes more valuable. Time is no longer something to waste. It's a precious resource. Imagine your time as a handful of coins. Would you casually toss them into a slot machine, hoping for a lucky payout? Probably not. And yet, that's exactly what many people do with surface-level friendships. Investing energy in relationships that feel shallow, unfulfilling, or even draining. But what if you stopped spending your time on people who don't nourish your spirit? Consider James, a 73-year-old retiree. For years, he forced himself to attend a monthly poker night with a group of acquaintances he barely liked. He went not because he enjoyed their company, but because he feared being labeled that lonely old man. Each visit left him feeling empty, as if he were just passing time without purpose. Then, one evening, he made a different choice. Instead of dragging himself to another lifeless game, he stayed home and watched a documentary about World War II, a subject he had loved studying back in college. By the time the credits rolled, James realized he felt more energized and connected to himself in those 2 hours than he had in months of empty small talk. That night, he decided his time was too precious to waste on relationships that didn't add meaning to his life. Science supports this shift in priorities. Research from the National Institute on Aging confirms that older adults who focus on fewer, deeper connections experience greater emotional well-being and life satisfaction. It's a simple equation: quality over quantity. Think of your social life as a closet. Would you keep worn-out, ill-fitting clothes just because you've had them for years? Of course not. The same goes for relationships. Clear out the ones that no longer serve you and make space for what truly brings joy. Here's a challenge. What's one thing you'd rather do than force a smile at a dull gathering? This week, permit yourself to do it. And stay tuned. There's a surprising ripple effect to this shift that could transform how you experience every relationship moving forward. 5. Inner peace outshines social buzz. We've been sold a myth: the more friends you have, the happier you'll be. Society often paints a picture where a full calendar means a full heart. But what if the real treasure lies in stillness, when you stop chasing social noise and start connecting with yourself? This was the case for Maria, a 70-year-old who once thrived on constant social activity. Her weekends were packed: brunches with friends, book clubs, and community events. It seemed like the busier she was, the happier she should have been. But when she moved to a new city to be closer to her daughter, her social circle shrank almost overnight. Without those familiar gatherings, she felt unmoored, as if she had lost part of her identity. One rainy afternoon, feeling particularly restless, Maria pulled an old journal from a dusty shelf. She began writing, not just about her daily life, but about her childhood dreams, the little quirks that made her laugh, and memories she hadn't thought about in years. What started as a way to pass the time became something more profound. Page after page, Maria felt a new kind of peace settle over her, a calm she hadn't realized she was missing. Friends still mattered, but they were no longer the foundation of her happiness. She found that the quiet moments spent with herself were just as valuable, if not more. This isn't just a feel-good story, there's science behind it. A 2023 survey by AARP revealed that 68% of seniors who invested time in personal interests, like reading, journaling, or meditating, reported greater contentment than those who relied on social activities for fulfillment. Think of it this way: it's like choosing a cozy, warm fire over the noise of a crowded party. Both have their place, but one offers a deeper, lasting warmth. So, here's a question. What's one quiet thing you've always wanted to try? Whether it's writing, painting, or simply sitting in silence, permit yourself to start. You might be surprised by the peace you find. And here's the twist. When you nurture your inner world, that calm confidence naturally draws others toward you. 6. Freedom to live your way is the ultimate reward. At 70 and beyond, you've earned the right to live on your terms. For decades, life may have felt like a balancing act. Meeting family obligations, keeping up with work demands, and maintaining friendships, often putting your desires on the back burner. But here's the truth. This stage of life is your opportunity to reclaim control. The days of bending to others' expectations are behind you. Now, it's time to decide what matters. Consider Linda, a 74-year-old who spent most of her life as a people-pleaser. For years, she said yes to every invitation. Holiday parties she didn't enjoy, lunches with acquaintances who drained her energy, because she didn't want to upset anyone. But one day, after receiving yet another invite to a tedious high school reunion, she did something different. She said no. Instead, she booked herself a solo trip to the coast, something she'd dreamed of for years. Standing on the shoreline, the wind tangling her hair, she felt an unexpected rush of freedom, something she hadn't experienced since her 20s. That simple act of choosing herself became a turning point. From that day forward, Linda prioritized what lit her up inside. Research supports this shift. According to sociologist Dr. Deborah Carr, autonomy in later life significantly boosts emotional well-being, often more than having a packed social calendar. It's like taking off a heavy coat after a long winter. When you release the burden of obligation, life becomes lighter and more enjoyable. Imagine waking up tomorrow knowing your day belongs entirely to you. No forced coffee dates, No exhausting commitments, just space to do what brings you joy. How would that feel? Here's the truth. You don't need to apologize for choosing yourself. Whether it's gardening, painting, or watching the stars, your happiness is worth prioritizing. And here's the surprising bonus. When you live authentically, people take notice. Confidence and ease are magnetic. By embracing your freedom, you not only enrich your own life but also inspire those around you. Funny how that works, right? So, what would you choose if no one else's opinion mattered? We've covered a lot of wisdom today, and now it's your turn. What have you learned? Which insight stood out the most, and what will you bring into your daily life? Let us know in the comments below. Remember, small changes lead to big transformations. Maybe you'll start decluttering, adjust your diet, set stronger boundaries, or embrace a new perspective on aging. Whatever it is, take one step today and see where it leads. If this video sparked something in you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps bring more valuable content your way. So, what's the next chapter in your journey? Let's explore it together.